Last year, I got a brand new Audi, and I'm a bit disappointed. There are some things that I knew would be bad about Audi because I owned an Audi in the past, and I've also driven lots of Audi vehicles. I didn't quite buy it because it's a lease. We call it operational leasing. It's basically a standard lease, it's not financed. I got it for my wife. I got it for a great price, actually. I was impressed by the monthly cost, which is around 460 euros per month, which includes everything: maintenance, insurance, taxes, tires, everything. I didn't tell you what kind of Audi is, so it's about an Audi Q3. It's an Audi Q3 with a 1.5 engine, TFSI, turbocharged, inline-4, with an S-tronic dual-clutch transmission. It has 150 horsepower and 250 newton meters of torque. The dual clutch is a dry one, a dry version, and it has 7 gears. I'm impressed so far about the fuel economy because it's quite good, especially when you go highway or extra urban outside the city. I managed to get around 5.4 liters per 100 kilometers. I will convert that on the screen in miles per gallon, in US miles per gallon, and in UK miles per gallon because I know they're different. And long story short, it's a great fuel consumption. And one reason for that is because it deactivates cylinders while cruising at a modest speed. So there are some good things about this car. It packs some features that I wanted exclusively for my family, for my wife. I have a small child, and during winter it gets a little bit cold, so we wanted to preheat the car before leaving to school. And I wanted a car which had an optional preheater, parking heater, Webasto, and it was around 1,300 euros, 1.3 thousand euros. And the issues, the problems begin. The first issue was with the My Audi app, which sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Cloud server errors, and basically I cannot activate the preheater from my phone. I would say 3 out of 10 times I get an error, I cannot start it, I cannot preheat it, so why did I pay this amount of money for a feature which works only occasionally? So I went to Audi and I got a manual remote, which you usually get for the older versions of cars which had Webasto preheaters. I don't know why I didn't get it from the beginning, to be honest, but I managed to convince them to make me a key, for which I did not pay. The lease company paid for this, and it was a bit expensive, like 500 euros, considering that it's just a remote. And now with the remote, which is radio controlled, it's not infrared controlled, I push the button, and if you are 1 kilometer around the car, it blinks twice green, and the preheater starts. So I can just start it from bed now. So I had one issue with the Audi app. Second issue, when I got the car, it was brand new. I got it from Bucharest, from a parking lot. I drove it home, 200 kilometers away. And when I got home, I found this, a little screw which was at the bottom of the left headlight. And I was like, what? Because it was extra. It didn't belong there. So I went to Audi, they scratched their heads, and they eventually replaced the headlight, which was around 1,000 euros because it's LED. It's not matrix LED, it's a simple LED, but it's expensive. So 2 problems until now. The extra screw, as you can see, in the headlight. Brand new car. Headlights were manufactured in Austria by an European company. I think Hella has a headquarters in Austria, and the car itself was manufactured in Slovakia, in Europe, basically. But wait, the problems don't end here. The third problem with my MMI, the multimedia interface of the car, which from time to time locks. It doesn't operate. I cannot do anything. And I have to reset the multimedia interface by pushing 10 seconds on a button. I had to Google how to do that. I didn't find any information in the owner's manual, which is a PDF on my app, which is connected to the car. And I found out what I have to do. I have to press for 10 seconds until it resets. And then everything works fine. But again, I think in the last 10 months, next month at the end of May, it's 1 year since I'm using this car, driving this car, around 13,000 kilometers so far. So a little bit over 1,000 kilometers per month on a regular basis. And in this time frame, I experienced like 4 or 5 times when the multimedia interface blocked. Okay, let's say this is a minor issue. The fourth issue is Audi stuff, Volkswagen stuff, turbocharged engine stuff, but especially Audi stuff, which I talked about a few years ago. Audi scamming its customers, quote unquote, because they consume oil and they behave like it's completely normal. Meanwhile, other car manufacturers like Toyota have cars with even thinner oil and they do not consume oil. So there are lots of car manufacturers that produce cars that do not consume oil. Audi continues to make cars that consume oil, but I have to give them a shout out. The fuel consumption is lower than it was a few years ago on their previous models with different configurations for the engines and engine layouts. So these 1.5 gasoline engines consumed about 0.7 liters. I made a mistake, a beginner's mistake. I got the car, I did not check the engine oil level. Working in a car workshop for a few years, I know that it's normal to have the oil level at maximum. When you change the oil, it's great to have the level at maximum. I assumed that the factory gives you the car with maximum oil level, but it wasn't the case. After 2,000 kilometers, I checked the engine oil and it was 2/3, so something like this. It wasn't full, it was something like this. And I was like, already 200-300 milliliters, 0.3 quarts of oil in what, like 2,000 kilometers? That's a lot. And I did another check at around 8,000 kilometers and it was slightly lower, but not that much. And I was like, maybe they did not put the oil level at maximum. And 2 weeks ago, we went on a trip and the car having almost 13,000 kilometers, I was like, I think I should check the engine oil level again. And guess what? It was lower. From here, it went to here. It wasn't on minimum. I didn't have any fault lights or any warning like, hey, you have minimum oil level, but it was a lot lower. So I put some oil, 0W20, a thin oil, I know, and now the level is okay. So I assumed that until I reached 15,000 kilometers to change the oil, I assumed that the level might have gone to minimum. So that's around 1 liter, 0.8 to 1 liter or 0.8 to 1 quarts of oil in around 15,000 kilometers. So long story short, yeah, brand new car, gasoline, turbocharged, yeah, it consumes 1 liter of oil every year, every interval. Between oil changes, you top up at least 1 liter of oil, which kind of sucks. It's a brand new car. I owned lots of cars in the past, and none of them, except Volkswagen and Audi, consumed that much oil. So a big disappointment because it's a brand new car. If it had like 100,000 miles, 200,000 kilometers, yeah, okay, I understand. but it's a brand new car. So it's a disappointment for me because they haven't managed to design an engine that it doesn't consume oil at all. But it's a lower fuel consumption compared to other engines which were a lot worse. And wait, I have two more problems. It was a sunny day, hot day, around 40 degrees Celsius, so a pretty hot day. The car is white, so it should not absorb heat that much compared to a dark color. I had an error for the SOS system. And I talked to Audi and they said like, the modules are in the roof and it got hot and you may got an error. The error disappeared by itself. We didn't do anything to the car. But I was like again disappointed because I had a blue Toyota Camry which went through even higher temperatures and I did not get any error of such kind. So poor design again. And the last problem with this car, I put some photos on my Instagram account. I got twice the check engine light, the first being at around 3,000 or 4,000 kilometers, because the digital instrument cluster wasn't communicating with the ECU. The error went off by itself once, but one time I had to go to the dealership to delete it. Or, yeah, I know, I can get a small OBD tester and I can delete it myself, maybe, if it connects to an universal OBD tester. So, long story short, brand new car, less than 1 year of owning it, renting it, how you like to say. And I have some problems, some issues, some manufacturing deficiencies, oil consumption, check engine light, and I'm glad that I will have to give it back. And I'm glad that whatever happens, the car is brand new, I have warranty, and it's none of my business what happens to it. At the end of the contract, I will give it back. So I'm happy I did not buy it. I'm happy that I'm not the owner. That being said, I hope this will help you in the future if you want to buy, finance, or lease an Audi. These things really happen to me. I'm not biased anti-Audi or pro-Japanese. I got this car as a gift, let's say, to my family and to my wife. She drives the car. And to be honest, I'm disappointed. If it was for me, I would have never bought or financed or leased an Audi because I know they have issues like this. It was a great offer. It wasn't that expensive. If I wanted a Japanese car, it was a lot more expensive. But again, I'm disappointed. And the verdict is I will never, never, ever, ever buy or lease a German car again. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like because it helps the algorithm push this video to other people. I'll see you guys in the next episode.